Good morning, everybody. We're going to call this meeting to order. This is the regular Mason County Commission meeting for November 23rd. With that, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Sharon Trask, would you do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here.
Wonderful. We have a quorum. Next up is item number 4, which is our correspondence and organizational business. Do we have correspondence to come before the board today?
We do. David Allen Corner sent in a request regarding his property. Sean Fontana sent in a Mason County Parks and Trails Advisory Board application. The Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent in the following: a marijuana retailer license for Belfair Cannabis Company, and a temporarily discontinued license for M&R Distributing. And Capital Region Educational Service District number 113 sent in their tax certification for the 2021 collections.
Excellent. Any other correspondence or organizational business to come for the body today?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Next up is item number 6, which is our adoption of the agenda.
Do you want to do the open forum?
Oh, my apologies. Skipped right past that one. I think that's the first time I've ever missed that in almost 10 years. All right, next up, folks, is item number 5, which is our open forum for citizens input. This is your opportunity as a citizen to talk to the commission regarding items that are not on the agenda. If they're on the agenda, we ask that you wait until it comes up, and you'll be given an opportunity to testify at that time and to talk about that issue. If it is not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to talk to the commission. We ask that you always keep it respectful. Please direct your comments to the chair. And with that being said, you'll be allowed up to 3 minutes per person. But please remember, it's 15-minute total time limit. So if you can be brief, please be brief. With that being said, I'm going to give you an opportunity to raise your hand. And I will call on those that can raise their hand first and give them the opportunity. If anybody else afterwards, I'll give you an opportunity by asking you if you would like to comment. With that, I see one hand up, and that is Greg Sipnicki. Greg, would you please unmute yourself? Tell us, if you don't mind, who you are, perhaps where you're from.
Yes, my name is Greg Sipnicki, and I live in the Camilchi Point precinct. And so, yeah, and anyway, so to begin, I attended, when I attended the commissioner briefing Monday of last week on November 15th, I liked hearing about the maintenance improvements that were being proposed for the existing parts of the Belfair sewer. I really appreciated not hearing about the county extending the sewer at county expense. As all 3 commissioners know, last winter, myself and many other Mason County residents were unhappy with the prospect of the county borrowing money to extend sewer when we felt that the expense should be picked up by the landowners or developers who had the ability to recoup their costs through latecomers fees. Then we heard later on that a developer had purchased a couple of parcels from the landowner, and that developer was willing to pay to have the line extended. So we were happy about that. Yesterday, 2 friends of mine who attended yesterday's briefing told me that Michael Lubavitch gave a presentation about extending the sewer into Kitsap County, and that Commissioner Netherland had a lot of questions that were unanswered. So I watched the video myself last night, And I have the same concerns that Commissioner Netherland has, especially not having any agreement from Bremerton on what costs they're willing to pick up before we make any financial commitments to go, forward with the project. When you consider that the Belfair sewer system, when it was originally being constructed, they estimated that it was going to cost $14 million, and it ended up costing between $52 and $54 million by the time it was completed. And those costs were a real big burden on the residents and businesses. Many homeowners and businesses went bankrupt as a result of the costs that were associated with paying for the sewer. So we have a right, I believe we have a right to know ahead of time what it's going to cost, and to have commitments from others we expect to pick up the costs. And if Belfair is willing to provide Bremerton their sewage facilities, and saving Bremerton from going through the expense of upgrading their facilities, isn't it fair to expect Bremerton to pick up the lion's share, the costs associated with extending the Belfair facilities into Kitsap County? And isn't it also fair, to expect, Bremerton to pick, like if they're going to provide, let's say for the sake of conversation, that what Bremerton puts into the sewer is about 20% of the capacity for Belfair. Isn't it fair to have them pick up maybe 20% of the costs that it costs our county or Belfair to construct the parts of the facilities that Bremerton's using?
So Greg, I need you to wrap up if you can.
Okay, just one last thing. The other thing is last winter, I spoke to all three of the commissioners, and when I talked to Commissioner Trask, I remember asking her about serving the other side of Highway 3, and I was told that they would have to pick up the costs for that. And I'm just wondering, what's the difference? Why should we pick up one side of the highway and not the other highway? And why should we be able to serve places like Allen or, go into Shelton or whatever? Why are we picking up this going up to Bremerton when they haven't even made any commitments or the desire to have it? I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, with that being said, I see I have another hand up. And again, this is an open forum for citizens input regarding items that are not on the agenda. Oh, it keeps moving on me. Is he still? Andrew, you had your hand up. Oh, there it is. Okay. So with that being said, I'd like to remind everybody it's a 3-minute time limit. We ask that you be respectful and address your comments to the chair. And with that being said, if it's on the agenda, you'll be given an opportunity to speak on it then. Andrew, I see you have your hand up.
Yes.
Would you like to speak? Please tell us who you are and perhaps where you're from.
Yes, my name is Andrew Makar. I'm from the Cushman area, and I'm another citizen who has his mind in the sewer this morning. I want to preface this by saying that I'm not inherently opposed to the idea of taxation for public good, despite the fact that I've observed this concept to be noticeably lacking lately. Capital improvements for anticipated growth is for public good, and I understand this project. I just ask that the council consider the numbers and who's going to benefit from the project. I don't want to see people unduly benefiting from it and the taxpayers unduly burdened by it. I mean, we're considering putting the taxpayers on the hook here, and the benefits of that obligation are going to flow into pockets of developers, enhanced property values of others. I mean, what we're doing here is taxing others to pay for a benefit for other people. I'm a resident of Cushman. This project is not going to directly benefit me. I mean, this Belfair area is 45 minutes away, and I get nothing personal out of it. And in a sense, we're endeavoring to pick a winner here. Usually when I hear people talking in those terms, they're attacking these things as being socialism and benefiting winners and losers. And all I'm asking that as we go forward, if we consider this project, we decide to go forward with this project, I just want to see my political leadership exercising some intellectual honesty in this area. So when it comes to discussing doing something for the little people, for working people, for something from green projects, I don't want to hear people crying socialist, and I don't want to hear them crying about we can't use taxpayer money to pick winners and losers, because that's exactly what we're doing here. I don't have a problem with doing it in principle. I just want people to be intellectually honest about it going forward and not hear nonsense arguments about other things that are also public good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I do not see any other hands up. So right now I'm going to say if you don't know how to do that and you still would like to testify or to talk to the commission on an item not on the agenda, I would ask that you unmute yourself now, say your name, and give me the opportunity to call on you before speaking. Is there anybody who would like to speak on an issue not on the agenda in the audience? Please unmute yourself, say your name, and give me an opportunity to call on you. I see none, and hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move forward to item number 6. We'll try this again. Item number 6, adoption of the agenda. The funny thing is, I was wondering, Commission, why wasn't somebody making a motion?
Because we wanted to hear the public comment.
Yeah, I realized it was my bad. So
Always,
that being said,
yeah.
item number 6.
Mr. Chair, I will move adoption of today's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded for the adoption of today's agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes for October 4th, 2021 and October 11th, 2021 briefing minutes, and October 12th, 2021 and October 26th, 2021 regular minutes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded for the approval of the minutes, October 4th, 2021, October 11th, 2021. These are briefing minutes. And October 12th, 2021, October 26th, 2021, regular meeting minutes as presented. Are there any comments or pulls or changes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Next up is item number 8, which is the approval of our action agenda. All items on the action agenda will be voted on with one vote unless it's taken off for a separate vote. After we read everything into the record, the community will be given an opportunity to ask a question that would help them to decide if they want to take it off for a separate vote. But if you want to testify and you want to take it off, please, let's just do that and save the comments for the testimony at that time. So with that being said, the commission will also have the same opportunities. Commissioner Schutte, do you mind reading 8.1 through 8.8? Commissioner Trask, if you wouldn't mind, 8.9 through 8.16, and I will read 8.17 through 8.25.
Mr. Chair, item 8.1, approval of warrants and treasurer electronic remittances. Claims Clearing Fund warrant number 808-4229 through 808-4500 in the amount of $2,039,539.50. Direct deposit fund warrant numbers 82143 through 82537 in the amount of $753,104.04. Salary Clearing Fund warrant numbers 7006259 through 7006293 in the amount of $992,341.39. Item 8.2, approval to appoint Terry Arcieri to the Planning Advisory Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2025. Item 8.3, approval to amend resolution number 2021-069 to approve the reclassification of the district court administrator from salary range 35 to a chief district court administrator at salary range 41 and place the incumbent at step 5 effective November 16th, 2021 on the current 2021 non-represented salary scale. Item 8.4, approval to amend resolution number 2021-069 to the proposed new non-represented salary alignment table structure with added steps and a 1.75 general wage increase effective January 1st, 2022 on the provided scale. Item 8.5, approval for the chair to sign the contract with FCS Group to conduct a housing needs assessment for Mason County in the amount of $50,000 from December 1st, 2021 to July 30th, 2022. Item 8.6, approval of resolution canceling outstanding warrants in the amount of $7,487.63 as listed in Exhibit A. Item 8.7, approval to renew the Sandhill Park Host contract with Clayton Castro through December 31st, 2022. Item 8.8, approval to amend resolution number 2020-84 for the county's 2022 health insurance contributions to the following. Item 8.8.1, effective January 1st, 2022 for participants in the PEB medical program, which allocates through the pooling method $1,115.46 per month county contribution for employees with single enrollment on medical and $1,644.98 with dependent enrollments for Teamsters probation and community and family health and IWA deputy prosecutors and public defense, whose collective bargaining agreements are in place and ratified on January 1st, 2022, and non-represented and elected officials. And item 8.8.2, effective January 1st, 2022 for participants in the PEB medical program, which allocates through the pooling method $1,115.46 per month county contribution for employees with single enrollments on medical and $1,592.98 for employees with dependent enrollments per month for Teamsters General Services collective bargaining agreement expiring December 31st, 2021 and not ratified by January 1st, 2022.
Item 8.9, approval of the resolution adopting the amended 2021 through 2022 Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy project list as recommended by the Mason County Economic Development Council. Item 8.10, approval to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 21st, 2021 at 9:15 a.m. to consider approval of budget supplemental appropriations and amendments to the 2021 budget. Total requests for adjustments to authorized expenditure appropriations in the general fund are $1,841,380. Total requests to authorize expenditure appropriations in funds other than general fund are $2,402,000. Item 8.11, approval to authorize a transfer of $30,000 from the 2021 Office of Public Defense salaries and budget or benefits budget to the operations budget due to an unfilled Deputy 1 position causing an increased need for outside professional services. Item 8.12, approval to use American Rescue Plan Act funds for the Mason County Sheriff's Office up to $40,000 for the installation of in-car vehicle cameras for the years 2021 through 2024, and approval of an additional $2,365 of ARPA funding for the purchase of cameras in the year 2021. Item 8.13, approval to award $450,000 a year for the Rural County Sales and Use Tax Fund .09 to the Mason County Belfair Sewer in 2021 and 2023 for Belfair water treatment and water reclamation projects, phases 1 through 4, planning and capital infrastructure development as allowed in RCW 82.14.370. Item 8.14, approval to award $90,000 from the Rural County Sales and Use Tax to the Mason County Economic Development Council in 2022 for business retention, expansion, recruitment project, and economic development planning as allowed in RCW 82.14.370, and approval to enter into contract. Item 8.15, approval of the resolution authorizing the sole source purchase of IA Pro software for internal investigations for the Mason County Sheriff's Office. Item 8.16, approval to authorize Public Works to execute agreement number 1 with Drayton Archaeological Research, extending the completion date to December 31st, 2023 for on-call cultural resource services with a maximum payout of this agreement not to exceed $50,000.
Item number 8.17 reads approval to authorize the Deputy Director, Public Works and Utilities and Waste Management to advertise a request for proposals for on-call sewer lift station pumping, water jetting, and video inspection of sewer line services and execute a 2-year agreement with a renewal option. Item number 8.18, approval of consolidated contract CLH 18253, amendment number 24, adding 150,000 for COVID related expenditures, adding 1,522,000 for the foundational public health biennium for the next 2 years and redistributing unspent funds from the Office of Drinking Water Group A program. Item number 8.19, approval to hire an environmental health specialist to complete the foundational public health service contract requirement funded by Washington State Department of Health. Item number 8.20, approval of the professional service contract agreement amendment number 2 between Mason County Public Health and the Hood Canal Coordinating Council to increase the project budget from $174,500 to $191,362. Additional funding will go towards a program on coordination, PIC field work, and purchase of sampling equipment for staff. Item number 8.21, approval of the use of $10,000 of ARPA funds under category 2:13, negative economic impacts / other economic support, and approval to sign the agreement with Crossroads Housing. Item 8.22, approval of the amendment to the subrecipient agreement with Community Action Council of Lewis, Mason, and Thurston County, CAC, for CARES Act Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, CV1 for coronavirus funds to include funding for CV2 program and update the beneficiary figures. Item 8.23, approval to adopt the Mason County Commission redistricting plan as submitted by the Redistricting Citizen Advisory Committee. Item 8.24, approval of the resolution establishing the 2022 field rental rates for Mason County Parks and Trails Department. Item 8.25, approval to pay Todd Cunningham, building inspector, lead pay. That is the end of our action agenda. Now that it's been read to the public, you'll be given an opportunity to ask a question that would help you to decide whether to have it taken off for a separate vote. Again, if you want to have it taken off for a separate vote, please do so. If you want to testify, please have it taken off for a separate vote. But if you have a question that would help you to make that decision now, please unmute yourself, say your name, or raise your hand on the participants list. I will call on you and give you that opportunity. Is there anybody with questions that would help them to decide whether or not to take something off for a separate vote? Please unmute yourself, raise your hand, say your name, and I will give you the opportunity to do so. I see none. Commissioners, do you have any questions that would help you to decide? Okay, are there any items the public would like taken off for a separate vote? Please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and give me an opportunity to call on you. If anybody would like an item taken off for a separate vote, please unmute yourself, say your name, and give me an opportunity to call on you. I see none. Commissioners, are there any items you'd like taken off for a separate vote? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of today's action agenda as read.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded for the approval of today's action agenda as read. With that being said, Commissioners, are there any comments?
Yeah, just a couple of quick comments, Mr. Chair.
Please.
I want to just point out two things in particular. One, really excited that we're funding the housing needs assessment for the community. This is something that has been a priority for the county's Housing Behavioral Health Advisory Board as we look to expand access to housing across the affordability spectrum. And so I'm really looking forward to the results of that as they come in next year to better help us with planning and hopefully spur some continued growth. We need it on the housing side for sure. And then the other one that I wanted to point out, just in sort of response to some of the public comment we received earlier today, item 8.13, we're already subsidizing the Belfair sewer system pretty significantly and have been for about a decade. Here we are committing another $900,000 over the next 2 years of rural sales tax dollars to the Belfair sewer. And so both of our commenters were outside of the Belfair area. And so I want them to know that they have been paying into the Belfair sewer, even though they're not getting a benefit to it or from it. And I'd like to be able to reduce the level of those subsidies to the folks in Belfair. I'm sure they would like to have a system that is growing and self-sustaining. I think as we all want that, but just so that they know that $900,000 of their sales tax is going to be going up to Belfair over the next 2 years.
Commissioner Trask, any comments?
Yeah, just one short one. Want to thank our redistricting committee members. They worked diligently and they were volunteers. Wanted to thank them for their time. Heard from many other commissioners at the conference last week that they are having a more difficult time. Let's just put it that way. And so our redistricting committee did a great job. Very much appreciate what they did.
And I also will comment on that same thing. Commissioner Trask is correct. It could have been contentious, but instead our people kept it very straightforward, mellow, and I think they came up with a very good, simple decision that keeps history in place and allows people to continue with the structure they already know. I think sometimes it's harder to do that than it is to just make changes that we think is going to have a great impact. With that, I also want to thank Clayton for agreeing to be the park host with Sand Hill again, and a special thank you to the Hood Canal Coordinating Council. Commissioner Schutte serves on that committee now. I did years ago. The PIC program that they provide money for is invaluable. Identifying where pollution is coming from and being able to correct it and do something about it quickly is a huge benefit to our environment, and just such a great use of funds compared to where there used to be a lot of funds for other things that I definitely did not agree with. This one actually makes sense. So a special thank you to Commissioner Schutte for being on that committee and moving for an increase on that. So with that being said, that's all I have. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries and the action agenda is approved as presented. Item number 9 is our department heads and elected officials under other business. Are there any department heads or elected officials who would like to speak at this time? If so, please unmute yourself, say your name, and give me an opportunity to call on you, or raise your hand. Any department heads or elected officials? Hearing none, we are going to move forward to item number 10, which is our public hearing. We're going to open item number 10.1. We open the public hearing to certify to the county assessor the amount of taxes levied for county purposes and the amount of taxes levied for current expense and road for 2022. An increase to the current expense and road property tax levies for 2022 may be considered. Staff, Jennifer Byerly.
Thank you, commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning. So this public hearing, as you stated, is to certify to the county assessor the amount of taxes levied for county purposes and the amount of taxes levied for current expense and county road for 2022. An increase to the current expense and road property tax levies for 2022 may be considered. Some background: pursuant to RCW 84.52.070, the commissioners must certify to the county assessor the amount of taxes levied for county purposes and for each taxing district by adoption of a resolution by November 30th. The recommended action is as follows. Number 1, move to increase the 2022 current expense property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $10,611,000. Item number 2, move to increase the 2022 road property tax levy by 10.66513%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,339,000. This includes a diversion of the road levy of $1,080,000 and a levy shift to current expense of $1,080,000. Item number 3, move to adopt the 2022 current expense and road property tax levy resolutions and continue the hearing to the December 7th, 2021 commission meeting at 9:15 a.m. to adopt the resolutions certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2022. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions?
Not for me.
Okay, so since this is a public hearing, we're going to also open it up for the public to ask questions. This is not a time to testify. This is a time to ask a question of Jennifer regarding the presentation that she just gave. If you have a question, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and give me the opportunity to call on you first. Any questions on regarding the presentation that was just given to you by Jennifer regarding this hearing? I see none, so we are going to go ahead and close this aspect and move to public testimony. Is there any public who would like to testify regarding the issue before us? If you'd like to testify, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and give me an opportunity to call on you. One more time, is there anybody like to testify? Please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and give me the opportunity to call on you. With that being 3 times, I'm going to close public testimony and move to commissioner deliberation and or motions. Does nobody have any comments?
So just a process question. So Jennifer, are you recommending we use the item number 3 under your recommended action? Is that the one that allows us to adopt ours and then hold off on final certification?
So actually, it's all 3 recommendations. So
we need 3 motions.
yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll get us kicked off. Mr. Chair, I move approval of, hang on here. Move approval of this is fantastic.
That's okay. You're making up for me. Keep going. You'll make me look good in no time.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of recommended action number 1, an increase of the current expense levy by 0% and bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $10,611,000 for 2022.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to increase the levy for the general fund by 0% and bank the excess capacity. Set the levy amount at $10,611,000. Any further comment?
Sorry.
Go ahead. You did wonderful. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, item number 2, road levy.
Mr. Chair, I move that we increase the 2022 road tax property levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,338,748.30. This includes a diversion of the road levy of $1,080,000 and a levy shift to current expense of $1,080,000.
Second.
Okay, I need a clarification on that statement. I heard an increase by 0% of the and bank the excess capacity. Did I hear it wrong or?
No, you didn't hear it wrong. So that was the old sheet before the levies were reviewed by the assessor's office. So the new motion, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, but hold on one second. I'd like you to explain it to us a little better first, if you don't mind. Commissioners, do you mind if we step out of order on this one for a clarification?
Nope.
Okay, with that being said, Jennifer, would you please explain the difference and the change that occurred between the one that Commissioner Trask is holding and the one you're discussing now?
Yes, so the change that occurred, the 10.66513% levy increase to roads is actually the close to $1,080,000 levy shift difference from last year. So we're not actually increasing our levy by, any statutory, the 1% statutory amount. And I might be stating this incorrectly. So
I think we are. I was having a problem with that, and when it came up, I was intending to have that conversation. But on the way that is worded, it does not seem I'm sorry, Commissioner Trask, on our sheet, it's worded different than what you have. The way it's worded on our sheet is increased levy by 10.66513%. And I can understand the levy shift, but we've never increased our overall levy by anything like that to do a levy shift. So I'm really confused.
So I'm going to ask if, I see that Patty McLean, the assessor, is on, and she can probably explain this better to me. I don't think that it's incorrect on the sheet, but I don't want to explain it incorrectly.
I
So
understand. Madam
So-
Assessor, are you available for comment?
Yeah, I have Sierra Stiles in here who worked with Jennifer on these numbers, so she's ready to speak up on it.
Please.
Good morning. So the dollar and percentage increase is over the prior year's actual levy. And so from the levy certification resolution, I see you're trying to reach 11,339,000. In order to reach that, the dollar and percentage increase must be large enough to capture that increase. And although it is a big number, the road fund was decreased by the road levy shift by $1,080,000. And so for that, the actual levy for the road was only $10,125,645. So in order to increase it to the 11,339,000, the increase, the dollar increase, is $1,079,913, which is equivalent to a 10.66513 percentage increase. It's over the actual, the highest lawful levy. With the passage of a resolution, your highest lawful levy will increase by 1% annually. If you want to actually levy that, the dollar percentage increase over the prior years must be large enough to capture that. And although the numbers, the percentage, I agree it is rather large, in order to actually levy that, the dollar and percentage must be large enough. It must, so I did run the numbers with the original version of 0 and 0. And with that, the road fund would not levy due to the limitations, the road levy fund would not be able to levy the 11,339,000.
Okay.
Can I maybe just?
Yeah, please go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, so I guess maybe kind of get down to brass tacks on this. What does that mean to the taxpayer at home? I mean, are they going to see their road portion of the property tax increase by 10.66%, or is this just sort of a mathematical methodology
So
you're up against?
So the resolution is twofold. The first part, it does increase your highest lawful levy by 1%. And then if you actually want to levy at your highest lawful levy, the dollar and percentage must be high enough to capture it. The reason why there's such a large increase now is because of the actual levy for the road shift last year was less by $1,080,000 due to the road shift. And so although it's a large increase now, the road did not have if the actual levy included that $1,080,000 that shifted to current expense, you would see the dollar and percentage increase more closer to 1%. But because we have to use the actual levy that was imposed, the actual was less $1,080,000 due to the road shift, which if you look at current expense, you see both 0 and 0 for the calculated increase because that particular levy was increased. And so that particular resolution, it will meet the 10,611,000, even with a calculated 0 and 0 percentage, $0, 0% increase because last year's actual levy was increased by $1,080,000 due to the road shift.
Commissioners, I'm wondering if this shouldn't be tabled for a briefing on Monday and a full breakdown of what we are doing here. I understand what's being said, but I'm not sure that I agree with some of it because I don't think that was our intention. And I think we may need to figure out how to make this work, especially in a manner, if we can't explain it to ourselves, it's a hard time explaining it to the public. I think we just may be better off with a tabling of this, but I leave it to you.
I
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sharon.
would be comfortable tabling it for now. My mind just went, and so maybe, yeah, I would appreciate a little bit more explanation, I think, around this. It's not that anybody's not, didn't give us great information, but I think it for my comfort level, I think I would like to have a little bit more information.
And if we do, I'll call on you one second, Jennifer. And if we do, one way that it may be able to be done is just to table it until the end of, until like 11:30 on Monday. So we have our discussion in the morning and bring back the hearing for commission discussion and motions.
The other, just real quick, sorry, Mark. The other option would be to just to set it for Monday, December 6th, when prior to our budget adoption. No, we can't do that. I see him.
I was gonna say, and I thought about that, but we also have an issue with a commissioner not being able to be there. And we want to make sure that that commissioner is involved in this discussion. And
I meant the vote, not the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, well, is there a time? Do we have a timeline?
Yes, has to be done by November 30th.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Can I?
So if I may, Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll let Jennifer also.
So Jennifer, I'll let you go first. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, please, Jennifer.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. I would just recommend adopting the resolutions as is, and we can always modify them if needed. But I mean, the 10.66513, we've got to bring that levy back up, or else we lose that $1,080,000 is my understanding in the road fund. And so I don't believe anybody's taxes are going to increase by that 10.66513. But if we do not bring that road levy up, then their taxes are going to decrease significantly because we will lose that right to levy that at all, is my understanding.
Yes, and I understand that too. And that's why my recommendation was, if it was to be tabled today, that we have our briefing on Monday morning, which is the 29th. And then we have the hearing 11:30 on the 29th. And that gives us the ability to have action before the 30th. And we'll know for sure what we're doing, what we're saying, and how we are expressing it to the public. Because I personally, I'm still not comfortable with passing it at this moment without some clarification. I have some other questions, and this hearing is not the place at this point to have that clarification. That should have been done at an earlier point in my belief as the chair for me. So go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think that this is it's difficult to kind of understand the total concept, but since we diverted close to $1,080,000 out of our roads fund into the current expense levy last year, that changes the number. So that means that the amount of actual road levy that we levied last year was $1,080,000 less, right? Because it got moved to current expense. So that's what you're seeing here. So I don't think it's actually changing the levy rate. I think it's just accounting for the fact that you diverted $1,080,000 and now you're going to divert another $1,080,000.
Well, except for there was a statement that was made by Patty's staff where she included a 1% increase in that statement.
We can figure that out after.
And I know that we had different conversations as a commission, and I just want to make sure it's right.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. So again, if there's a motion and a second, we will have a vote.
I guess I'm insurance.
Pardon me?
We didn't know if we were muted or not. So I don't know if this is still the opportunity to talk, to discuss it, but by law, the highest lawful levy may increase by 1% per year.
Yes.
The county, there is some banked capacity because last year, both current expense and roads chose not to levy that. The increase was merely due to new construction, state utilities, and of course the shift from roads to current expense. And so the dollar and percentage on roads, because we must use the actual levy was decreased by 1,080,000. It shifted to the current expense. So to bring that levy up and to levy the amount specified on the levy certification, the dollar increase is merely just a simple subtraction of what you're trying to levy minus the levy that was actually imposed. The percentage, the difference over the actual prior year's levy. So there is a big increase, but it's because it was less by 1,080,000 due to the road shift.
Yes, and I understand that from the conversation earlier. What I'm trying to find out now is where we're going to be. So right now, I'm going to close all testimony and anybody else except for the commission at this moment. Okay. With that, Commissioner Trask, Commissioner Schutte. Again, I heard that comment also about the inclusion of a 1% increase. Where are you sitting on this at the moment? If so, if you're ready to move forward, please make a motion, a second. I know where I'll be voting on it because I'd like to be able to explain it better to the public at the bare minimum and make sure that that 1% is not included as we had discussed before, unless we've changed our minds. So with that being said, Commissioner Trask, where are you sitting? Are you ready to make a motion or are you wanting to table or?
Well, I'm comfortable with their explanation, but it would be, I think, appropriate for us to maybe address it on Monday. And then, like you said, vote on it after our briefings.
Commissioner Schutte, how do you feel? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think there's also a motion that's already out there and seconded that we would have to rescind. And then,
Did you second it? I heard the motion. I did not hear the second.
I did.
Okay, well, if there is a motion and a second on it, it would have to be rejected at this moment if that's what we're going to do, or accepted.
Mr. Chair.
Except for it was a miss account of the number. That motion included a 0.
Right. So what I can do is I move to withdraw my motion.
Technically, we're not, once it's been seconded, it's owned by the body technically, and it cannot be withdrawn. I know in meetings we do that, but since it's a governmental meeting, I think we should probably.
So just maybe call for the vote and I'll vote nay.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Okay, the motion goes down. Is there another motion before the body? A motion now would be a different motion with the changed number, or a motion to table, or nothing at all.
Just a question probably for Diane. How are we looking on Monday in terms of being able to hold a special meeting to do this?
I think late morning, like Randy said, should work out just fine.
So if we went with 11:30, as he said, is that workable?
Let me pull it up. I would say yes. The 29th. We have this state auditor exit conference at 10:30, so 11:30 should be a safe time, yes.
Okay.
So now the next question before you make a motion would be, would it be more appropriate to make a motion just to table this whole meeting? Because you're not going to want to adopt number 3 and set that with that exact verbiage today, I wouldn't think. Jennifer, Mark?
Yeah, I go ahead, Mark. I see you unmuted.
If the board would like to hold off until Monday to adopt all three of the, is it two or
Yep.
three of these resolutions? I believe you've already adopted the first one for the
Yes.
general levy. So I would say that we'd carry forward the remaining.
Okay, so if there was a motion to table for a certain time, it should probably include tabling now for the remainder of the hearing to include 2 and 3, or what other motions may come forward.
So moved.
Okay,
I was gonna say that. I'll second.
all right, it has been moved, and correct me if I have it wrong, then it has been moved and seconded to table this hearing to include 2 and 3 to the date of November 29th at 11:30. Is that correct?
Correct.
Will it be open for public comment again, or,
Yes. That
okay,
would be my intention.
and yours and mine as well. So to also include reopen back up for public comment regarding these 2 issues. Any other comments before I move forward? Then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. This meeting is tabled to November 29th at 11:30. Yeah. Next up, it's our last hearing. So the hearing is temporarily tabled and closed. Next up is item number 11, which is board report and calendar. Commissioner Schutte and Commissioner Trask and myself, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Following today's meeting, also have a check-in with BHO staff. Later this week, have the county's Housing Behavioral Health Advisory Board meeting, then out for the holiday. Back Monday for a special meeting now and briefings, as well as the Thurston Mason BHASO Governance Board meeting, some constituent meetings midweek, as well as the EDC Expo, which may have a quorum at some of that. I'm not sure if it's in person or all virtual or some combination of the 2, but might bump into at least one of the commissioners there. And then a Skokomish Valley check-in with the Army Corps of Engineers before coming back for briefings again in December.
Great. So this afternoon, I have a Public Works Board traditional meeting. Picking up some amazing pies for Thanksgiving because I don't cook. I'm not a baker. I have a constituent meeting on Wednesday. I'll be listening in to the point in time count preparation meeting on Wednesday. The holiday on Thursday and Friday. Commission briefing and now a special meeting on Monday. WASAC Virtual Assembly. My anniversary is December 1st. Just so if you want to give me a box of candy, that'd be great.
There's a plug.
I expect a lot more from my husband, let me tell you. Public Works Board executive meeting on Thursday, Public Works Board meeting on Friday. And then county briefing and hearing, budget hearings on Monday, the 6th. Commission meeting, and then oh goodness, finance meeting, community action council meeting, courthouse security meeting, and Pack Mountain meeting on Friday, and then we're back here on the 13th.
We all attended a finance committee meeting in the last few weeks. I had a EDC Legislative Steering Committee meeting, Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority meeting of the EDC. I spoke at the Veterans, or I spoke at the Eagles Club on Veterans Day. We all attended the Board of Health meeting. I also attended the Mason Transit Authority meeting, North Mason Chamber of Commerce directors meeting, Mason County Housing Authority directors meeting. And just for an update, commissioners, you're going to like hearing this. I'm just going to say it. I am happily becoming irrelevant in those meetings. It's shifted that far now to where they are doing the job and getting things done, where I mostly sit there quietly and just listen in, and they just do it. That's a big change from where it came in. So you all made a great choice in how you help structure and do all this stuff. It is really coming around. There's some big changes happening with taking over responsibility on it. The board is, and the director, and just wanted to let you know that your efforts have not gone wasted. I love that I'm just sitting there with my mouth shut. That's a big success. Canvassing board meeting, attended the area command meetings. This last weekend, I disappeared for a couple of days quietly and went to Vegas. And when I went to Las Vegas, I received it about a year ago, but they finally had an opening for the graduation to walk down the aisle to receive my master's degree in a master's of science and management leadership. And it was pretty amazing. I can tell you right now, in Vegas, nobody realizes there's anything going on in this world when it comes to COVID. I could not believe how everybody was on top of each other in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. So just interesting how that works. So now in this next week, I have a canvassing board meeting after our stuff today. I also have we have a special meeting coming up Monday with our briefings. North Mason Chamber of Commerce meeting. I may also be attending the point in time count, meet with school board member, MTA policy committee meeting, Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization Executive Board meeting. We have moved forward our public hearing. We also have a public hearing coming up on budget. I may attend a Port Allen meeting, and the Law Enforcement and Firefighters Board and the Economic Development Council, ECBO. I may be seeing you there, Commissioner Street. With that being said, that brings us back and we start the whole thing all over again. That's the end of our agenda as I could see it. Is there any thing for the public good or a motion to adjourn, which could also be for the public good?
I move that we adjourn.
Okay.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. See everybody later.